So we started at 7 a.m. Yesterday, but we drove to 9:30 last night, about 14 and a half hours, got into Plymouth at our hotel. We're all very excited, head to the track this morning to get teched in and get us situated. First time to Road America, one of probably the most beautiful track in the United States, but we're looking forward to it and on our way.
Hey Bill, it's only flat on one side.
Ken, what is your role on these weekends?
This is I'm basically going to be the wrench and Bill Davis to just try to keep these cars going, and of course the trailer is giving us a little fit right here, but we're going to try to keep us going all weekend on two MGs. Special Zapata fuel gauge. How we look? About a quarter of a tank.
Me and my partner Larry Liggis own a prep shop called Predator Performance, and we maintain probably about 20-25 different cars, which involves preparing them at the shop, load them in the transporters, bring them to the track, babysitting all these people over the weekend, and taking them back home again and getting ready for the next event. We do about 10 to 15 races a year, East Coast, and we go out to Monterey once in a while, and we even go down to Mexico for the La Carrera Panamericana also.
How many people will you have competing in Mexico?
This year we take in 4 cars.
And is it stressful when you get back from a race like this and you have another race in a couple of weeks to prepare all the cars for the next race?
It can be if we have a lot of problems with the cars, but on the whole, you know, we seem to be able to handle it okay. As long as there's nothing major like accident damage is the worst, because you've got to rely on a body shop to get a car painted, where if it's mechanical stuff we can do it on our own pretty much.
When I interviewed Brian at the Mitty, he said you guys took that Lola from 9 cardboard boxes and got it on the track in 5 months.
Correct.
How many guys and how many hours did you have in that car?
Good question. I don't know how many hours it was, but we spent probably about a month. What we basically did is restored the chassis, and then we hung the suspension on it, and then fitted the body, and we kind of ran all the fuel lines, the wiring, and then took the car back apart again, had the body painted, and once we got the body back and we had a bare frame sitting there, we spent 6 weeks with 3 guys on it. So basically we built the car really in about 6 weeks.
Now this is your customer's car, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the build process on something like this.
This actual car here, we started to build for a client in Texas, and he changed his mind, and he put the car on eBay. So Farrell purchased the car off of eBay, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it was a bare tub, but we'd already fitted a roll cage and did a lot of improvements to it. So Farrell decided he wanted the car opalescent silver blue, which is a Jaguar color. So we had the whole tub powder coated, which stands up to the rock chips, oil, gasoline. You know, it doesn't peel off. which keeps the car looking a lot nicer for a longer period of time. But it's all stock Jaguar suspension, front and rear. It does have a rear end location kit which we make ourselves. The engine's built by Bill Terry in Benton, Illinois. It's a full race motor, makes about 380 horsepower. Has a Muncie 4-speed gearbox. But it's Jaguar brakes, front and rear, Jaguar brake rotors. I mean, it's a legal vintage race car.
Now, is there anything that Larry has done to his car that you won't do on Farrell's car, just so Larry can be faster?
Of course.
Trying to think. Larry, normally Larry runs 16-inch diameter wheels and Farrell runs 15, and Larry has slightly better front brake calipers. They're aluminum caliper where Farrell's running a cast iron caliper. But the engine's pretty much the same.
Then, right?
Yes, his are a Jaguar caliper. The engines are the same specs, transmission is, differential is.
Drivers are not the same.
Yeah.
Little difference.
Little different size and weight. But no, on the whole, I mean, this car, Jim Pace drove it at Sebring and he turned a 219 in it, and it does weigh a little bit more than Larry's car by 150 pounds. So the cars are relatively close, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So is Predator kind of arrive and drive?
Yes.
Will the customers, you're going to load it in your truck, take it to your shop, and they won't see it until the next race?
On the whole, yeah. Farrell is a bit more involved than most. He did come to the shop about a month ago and work on his McLaren Can-Am car.
They had to teach me.
They wanted to fit a different kind of rear wing to it, so he modified it all and fitted it and drilled and riveted and spent a day and a half working on his own car, which is really cool. Some of them I wouldn't let them work on their car for safety's sake. No names mentioned.
That's good. Anything you want to add about this, the vintage racing and the spirit of vintage racing, and your role in that?
I'm probably the luckiest guy in the paddock because I got the best customers. I mean, they're all such wonderful people, and they become great friends, which is great. But no, I mean, it's a real team sport. I mean, we all get along so well in the group, and we just become real good friends. I mean, it's really wonderful. But one guy who owns a Falcon, he makes little movies up after each weekend, and the next race we'll sit down and watch a movie he made. And Byron likes to cook us all dinner, and once a weekend he'll do a big spread and lay all the tables and tablecloths out, and he'll feed about 40-50 people. So we have a little more socially going on than most of the other teams. They're worried about lap times and gear ratios, and we're worried about what's for dinner.
That's good.
Yeah.
Perfect. How long have you been vintage racing?
About 15 years.
Tell us about your car.
It's a 230 SL Mercedes. It's got like a 2.8 liter motor in it, and it's a pretty reliable car. It's a pretty safe car. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you can bring it home in one piece, you've won, There's no money involved, so we're just having fun racing. And what you do is, like, my car runs in the middle of the pack. So, you look at the timesheets that they print out in the morning or in the afternoon, and just kind of, you'll find a group of people that are running pretty close to your lap times, because, some of these events you got like 3 or 4 different groups, and those groups have different classes within those groups. So you got faster cars and slower cars. So then what happens is you find a bunch of guys that you can run with, and you just kind of play with those guys on the track.
How did you get into it?
Just wanted to go racing, and I figured vintage was the way to go. You build the car one time, and the rules never change. The rules are basically carved in stone, so you don't have to worry about your car, being outclassed next year by newer rules or regulations. So it's basically you build the car one time, and you're good to go. So we've run this for the last 15 years.
Is vintage racing dangerous, in your opinion?
I think if you have a safe car, it's not. You got to build safety into the car. You got to have the proper roll cages, fire suppression systems and whatever. Good head and neck restraint. I mean, you'll be safe. If you build the car right. So if you're going to race a car, it's not if you're going to crash, it's when you're going to crash, because eventually you're going to crash. It just happens. So you have to be prepared for that. Stuff happens. when you're going at these speeds and the way we're driving, and you know, got 40-year-old cars, something's going to break once in a while, and you know, people spin off the track, you know, and this stuff happens. I was coming around Oak Tree and I looped it around, spun out. It kind of stalled, and then one of the guys that was coming up behind me wound up running into the side of the car.